All right, here we go. We are going to finish up tonight this system sandwich, and then you will have a full 3-part series that encapsulates the very basics of what we do, our system of how to do it. Could deeper dives be made into each topic? Absolutely. But this is a great overview, and I think it's also something that you can have so that when somebody new that is ready to like say, yeah, you know what, I'd like to build a small side business, you can say, watch these 3 videos and you will have a great foundation for how to begin that. Give me just a second. I'm going to mute everybody. Awesome. Okay. So, let's see. We talked about the foundation of the sandwich, which is treating this like a job, even if it's a small part-time job, setting yourself up for success with intentionality, figuring out when your business hours are to the best of your ability. Does it have to be perfect? No. But if you don't have anything in place, nothing's going to happen. Then we talked about the meat of the sandwich. Actually, we talked about the meat first, what to do when someone asks you, like, what is this? How do I get started? And tonight we want to finish up with talking about what to do after they come aboard. It's often when things begin to fall apart. This is more important than recruiting. It's much easier to keep people that you have rather than finding new people. And a lot of people assume that once you've sold someone on this way of life, they're good, they're in. And that really couldn't be farther from the truth. You must continue to resell your people on this way of life over and over again, because as humans, we are chronic forgetters. I had somebody actually today that came back to me. She had begun a few years ago and quit. And then about a year and a half ago, she came back, quit again. And I was like, oh, she's probably done for this time. Came back to me this morning and said, I just need something simple. I need to get back to this. Why do I think she's done that? Because I continued to sell her on this on my main page consistently. But you have to do it after they come aboard too. And now I think she also wants to begin building the business. So that's a great thing too. So there's 3 things that we do for you that will help you resell your audience on this. Oops, sorry, I forgot that page. And then the 3 things that we do for you. And then there's 5 things you got to do for yourself. Okay. So the 3 things that we do for you is we resell your audience in Plexus 1.0. It's going on right now. There's people that are just getting started, and this is going to make them feel a part of the community. It's going to continue to educate them, make them feel a part of something that is doing a good job of ensuring that they want to stick around. We then continue that journey on the Fab Fit and Free page. This month, we're doing our maintain challenge. It's very simple, but it's something that they can grab a hold on to continue their own health journey. And then more recently, we've added in the monthly community call where we, for 20 minutes at the end of every month, we say, all right, we're going to do this for another month, and here's why you should. Okay. So if you're not taking the time to plug your people into those 3 things, you're missing out on some great containers that we have in place that will continue to sell them on this. And guess what? Here's what I also see. I see people like I have maybe a level 1 or a level 2 that maybe they don't even work the business, or they did and now they're gone. And I'm able to have access to their people because they're still on this page. Right? So that's going to happen for you too. People that have several people between me and them that are MIA, and I can still be touching their lives. All right. So those are the 3 things that we do for you. And to be honest, when you're a leader of a team of people, you also have to continue to resell your business builders that, hey, this is a good idea to stay and keep doing this side of it for the long haul. It's actually what I'm doing right now. It's what I do every morning on our morning mindset call. I'm always looking for ways to change your thoughts about the experience of sharing Plexus publicly to positive ones. Did you notice that I'm doing that? I don't even care if you do notice, because you actually want to be sold on this, because if I'm right, you and I both know that your life changes for the better. So I'm super bold now about saying, hey, every time I get the chance, I'm going to resell you that this was a good idea. Okay, so those are the 3 things we do for you. Now there's 5 things you got to do for yourself to keep the sandwiches coming. I promise I'll stop with that metaphor. Okay, so the first thing is customer care. Okay, you got to check in with your people. You can't just sign them up and send them on their merry way. And this is where we're going to spend the bulk of tonight. We have a PDF that we've created that literally tells you how to do this effectively, because here's what I see when people don't follow that PDF. They may check in, but they check in ineffectively. So like they might check in too much. They might just check in and be like, do you love it? Every day. That's not only annoying, but it puts pressure on them to have an opinion that they haven't even, they haven't even formed yet. The other thing I see a lot of people do is they ask vague questions. They pop in and they're like, how's it going? How you feeling? And because your people don't know what to say when you say that, and they have to work to come up with the right answer. And as I've taught you before, humans seek comfort and seek ways to put forth the least effort possible. And that's why they don't answer that question, because they don't know and they don't want to think about it. So that's why you might check in and they don't respond back. So we have honed this PDF to ask the right questions in the right amounts, and they're all on this sheet that we have. It's in the files on our Road to Diamond page. So let me just go over it, because there's a lot of you that have used this for a long time. You know this stuff, but there's some newer people here that haven't. So you sign somebody up. For example, let's use Kathy as an example. She just signed somebody up, all right, about 10 minutes ago. So did Jackie, I think, if we found an email to use. You are now, the best thing you can possibly do, if you haven't done it already, is set up a 3-way message with your sponsor. Hey, Marcy, I want to introduce you to Trish. Is it Trish? Right? And you use this message, but a lot of times you might already have a 3-way message set up. For example, Caitlin Becca just set up a 3-way message with me with a prospect, which we teach you to do in the meat section of this training. She said, hey, listen, my friend wants relief from X, Y, and Z. I don't know the best welcome pack and what the pricing is. Can you help her so I don't steer her wrong? Fantastic. So let's say our conversation goes well. We're already going to have that 3-way message in place, right? So that's step 1. And also, before they start, I always ask them 4 questions. How's your water intake? Do you take thyroid medication? How are your bathroom habits? Like, are you constipated? Are you the opposite? That will really help inform me on what I'm going to start them on, how much BioCleanse I'm going to tell them to take, all of that. And then I'm going to ask them about their cravings, because that will also help me know, what other products might help them down the road. And I make a note of these in my filing system. I use a program called Doe. I love it because it helps me not only keep track of who I've said what to already. And, if you have a planner or something, you can plan out these check-ins, but it's not a good way for you to keep track. You need a different way to keep track of, wait, what have we already talked about? And like, what is the product they want to try next? So that's why I love dough. You don't need it if you're a silver, senior silver, but if you're like halfway to senior gold from gold, I think it's a very worthy investment for you, or something like it. Okay. Whenever I sign somebody up, so Kathy, what I would do is I would go into your planner, and on, I don't know, today's Monday, right? Is it Monday? Yeah. I would say on Wednesday, I would give her instructions like, hey, listen, if this comes in the next day or two, here's what you're going to do. And I would determine what their day one is, right? And here's a message I would send there. It's got all the verbiage for it. Here is how to advise product usage in the first week of triplex, depending on what they've told you about their bathroom habits. If they have thyroid meds, you need to maybe figure out if they need to start their slim closer to lunch, or, if they have to separate it. Step 3, you want to add them to the Fab Fit and Free page. And there's a message here, right, that will help you do that. It will make it seem like you are on top of things. I have a message I send on day 7, and I look at these specific questions I ask. I don't say, how you feeling? I say, are you getting into a good rhythm? Are you drinking your water? Are you pooping 1 to 3 times a day? These are very specific questions that have very easy answers that will come to the forefront of their mind immediately. Okay. I very rarely don't get answers to these questions. And it also helps you know how to advise them. If you start saying like, are you feeling good in week 1? Here's what they're thinking. Oh, I don't know. Am I supposed to be fit? No, I don't feel, actually, I might feel a little worse. Oh my gosh, I guess I'm just somebody who these products aren't for. So I basically don't even say, are you feeling good yet? Because you shouldn't be. If you are, fantastic. All right. Once that message is sent, I will schedule out day 14, consistency. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Are these products actually making their way off the kitchen counter and into your body? I also ask them if they're getting some sugar cravings increasing. That sometimes happens. I tell you what to do if they say yes. Then the next time I reach out is about 5 days before the 2nd month subscription hits. And I have a message there, and I say, your order's going to hit on this day. And I know we discussed adding an X Factor or Ease. How do I know that? Because I wrote it down in my file about them. I would never, ever remember that otherwise. Never. I have too many people, but even if you don't have a lot of people, you won't remember this. Also in Plexus 1.0, for example, today, they wrote down, here's what I'd love to try next. I make a note of that so that when, and actually, I don't think I have this on this PDF, but I do think we added it. I think Marcy has an updated version of this that I can upload. But before month 2 hits, I'll say, okay, in Plexus 1.0, you said you wanted to try MetaBurn. I have the best news for you. You have enough perk points to try it free. Can I add that to your next order for you? I'm not asking them for anything. I'm giving them something, right? I'm being of service. And they're like, oh my gosh, wow, she remembered that I wanted MetaBurn. She's really on top of this. She's just so full of servant-hearted goodness. Okay. So that you can read through that. This is what your sponsor should have done with you. And if you're smart, you let your sponsor do this with the first couple of your people and you watch her do it. So you learn. Does it always go like this? No, some people are super chatty and they'll chat with you a lot. And so I'll work those questions in at the appropriate time. I don't say, hey, I can't talk to you yet because it's not the day 7 check-in. I just work it in. And sometimes it happens super organically, but a lot of times it doesn't. And I just am checking in when it says to on that PDF. Okay. So I highly recommend that you use it. It works. Okay. So back to this. The next thing I would do every day to have a healthy business is I would check your perk reports. Okay. You can find that under the business tab in your virtual office. Your sponsor can help you find that. I'm going to see who is in danger of losing their perk points and why that might be. And I'm going to send them a message and say, hey, you're about to lose 750 perk points, which is about 2 products free. Will that hurt your soul? And most of the time they're like, what? What are perk points? And now I have the opportunity to tell them that, because even though I talk about it in Plexus 1.0, not everybody reads everything. You have to keep telling people things. Have you noticed this yet? And I also let my leaders know the same thing. I'll be like, hey, Kathy's about to lose 750 perk points. And I'm not doing this to micromanage, but I know for myself that even when I'm trying to do my best and check my perk report every day, it doesn't always happen every day because life. So it's a double fail safe. If Jackie's super busy with her other business, I can just say, check in with A, B, and C. They're about to lose this. And she doesn't even have to go and look. It's just a helpful thing. Okay. So I always do that every day if I can. The next thing I'm going to do, second thing of the 5 things you got to do, is check your upcoming subscriptions. Do you have anybody that has an order that's about to hit in the next 2 or 3 days? You want to just make sure it's welcome, especially in the first 3 months. After the first 3 months, then I might say, all right, I feel like you're happy, we're stable, you're good. Your order hits on the 25th of every month. I'm probably not going to remind you of this every month anymore. Make a note of it. Okay. But some people, I need to do it with them every single month. Okay. This is when I'm going to say, hey, you said you wanted to try MetaBurn next. Do you want to try it now? Do you want to wait till you get it free next month? What would you like to do? Okay. And again, these things pop up for me in my Dough app. I have reminders pop up all the time where I'm like, whoa, never would have remembered that. Next up, I'm going to have lots of conversations with people. This is a people business. If you are not having conversations, and I'm not talking about Plexus necessarily, I have a lot of conversations with new people and I get to know them in an organic way. And I don't have any agenda other than having fun with them, especially on Instagram. I'm going to have calls or messages with people who have asked me about this. And sometimes I'm going to reach out to somebody that I think would benefit from this if I have enough relational equity. I'm going to follow up with people who have reached out to me about this. Maybe I've sent them a sample. Maybe I had them watch a video. All of these sorts of things I have on my calendar. Okay, so that's another big thing I do each and every day. And finally, I'm going to create content. Your personal content is reselling people on you. Because remember, they're not buying Plexus, they're buying you. And it's because people buy vitamin water because they've bought Jennifer Aniston. Plain and simple. People buy Plexus because they've bought you. So you have to continue to put content out there that resells them that, wow, she seems like a reliable person that I would like to follow. Doesn't mean that you're perfect. You don't have to be perfect yet. You just have to be moving in the right direction in a consistent and admirable way. And then your Plexus content creation continues to resell people on your product or your offer. And if you keep doing these 5 things, you will circle back to having people ask you about Plexus. And then you need to follow that system of when they ask you, what do I do? And then you once again follow the foundational part of the sandwich where you do your business hours every day. And these are the things you do in those hours. Okay. So I'm going to open it up for questions in just a minute because there may be some questions. But if you're not currently making money, well, here's what if I do these every single day, and I did these every day for 6 years, It's going to take you a couple hours a day to complete all this, but you will soon be making money that outpaces that. If you're not currently making money that outpaces that, here's what I would tell you. Has there ever been a time when you have dropped out of sight? You got discouraged because nothing was happening. You had the thought, my audience doesn't want this, and you took a step back. And this is a very natural thing that happens. It happens all the time. It's happened with me. But every time you do that, and then you start over, you also start from scratch, rebuilding trust with your audience. And if you've stopped and started over and over and over again for years, and you are gold or below, I'm going to challenge you to say that's probably why. Has nothing to do with your level of influence, has nothing to do with your audience not wanting this. It has to do with your level of trust that you have or haven't built with them. Consistency over time gives birth to momentum. Do these 5 things every day and you'll grow. Do these 5 things every day, no matter what your results are on that given day, or even that month or that quarter, and you'll grow. Do these 5 things every day, no matter what your emotional state is, how crazy the rest of your life is. You have those people that the slightest thing derails them. They're like, oh, life is just crazy. It's crazy. No matter what you're in the mood to do or not do these 5 things without derailment, and you will grow. Okay, so what kind of questions has this raised for you? Anything? Or for the peanut gallery, what questions do you think a new person might have that would be beneficial for me to answer at this point? Or was I just so thoroughly clear?
How long are the perks available, the perk points?
Great question. So your perk points never expire. They're always there as long as you have a subscription in place for 100 PV. The way that you lose your perk points, or your people will lose their perk points, is if they do one of 2 things. They turn their subscription off entirely, or they put it to less than 100 PV. Once that happens, they will show up on your perk report, and you'll have to do a little research as to why they're on there, because they either turned it off or they took a product off and it bumped them lower. And they have 3 days to reinstate them. But what's really interesting is that I'm now seeing verbiage when I'm messing around with my subscription, you know, how, as we do, and it says, hey, you're about to lose your perk points. It says 7 days. So I don't know if it's 3 or 7, but I think it's 3. We operate that it's 3. So that's why I check it every day, because sometimes when you send a message of like, hey, you're about to lose I had somebody the other day that lost like 1,800. And I reached out to them, and sometimes it takes people 2 or 3 days to respond to that message. They don't see it. So you got to give them time. What else?
I do think your points about the communication, especially in the first month, it's really good, and it's been very helpful for me, because you don't want to over communicate. You don't want to check in with them every 2 or 3 days, because that's just too much for people. So the schedule that you have created on the onboarding, to me, it's perfection, and it makes it very easy to help people get started on the products in a manner that's going to suit them well, and they're going to have a good experience with them, because that's the main goal too. You want them to understand, you know, and just with the whole 3-way chat, all of it is just also good, because if they're having an issue, like I know Kathy and I, with one of her first people, we didn't initially start a 3-way chat, but then we got her on a 3-way chat because she was going to quit because she was having detox. So I was able to talk her off that cliff and work through it. And we got her, processing in the right way that her body was, doing well with the products and now she's doing great. So it's just all really good.
Yeah, it really
It adds a lot of value.
Yeah, agreed. So that is what I do. It's really simple. I just do it every day. I do it. But I had it in my mind that this month, because I'm like, after tonight, I'm going to be pretty much in wedding mode. But I'm like, well, all right, I might have a little bit of a down month this month, but already I had somebody reach out to me this morning, right away. That was the one that came back. Things happen, but they only happen if you've laid the proper foundation of consistency in showing up. And if you do that, and it's not super time consuming to do that. It's 1 or 2 well-written posts a week about plexus, and the rest you just being you, and you will harvest things when you least expect it. And then there's times where I feel like I'm putting in a lot of effort and nothing is happening. And so I've had to learn to balance my emotions. And I'm reading in Kristen Boss's book right now about how a lot of people say that their why is, I want to retire my husband, or I want to retire early, or I want to leave my 9 to 5, or I want to be able to pay for my daughter's wedding, or whatever. And those aren't whys, those are outcomes. And you have to figure out what your purpose is. Why are you in the world, and what has God put you here to uniquely share with your audience? And then when you let Plexus sponsor that, you're suddenly doing things you would do anyway because you find value in them yourself. So you have to work from a place of deeper purpose than just getting results on any given day. And when you do that, you are unstoppable. You're unstoppable. And there's nobody I know that has done that and is making even $400 or $500 a month is life-changing for people. There's nothing if you are like, well, I really can't sell the business because I'm only making $300 or $400 a month. $300 a month is life-changing for some people. It absolutely would be, and it is worth it. If you're doing that, you can teach somebody else to do that, and it's valuable. Okay, that's all I have for tonight. And now I'm going to reap the benefit of having a successful social selling business. And I'm going to take the next 2 Monday nights off. Because next Monday night it'll be the night before I leave for the wedding of the century. And the Monday after that, I will have just gotten home from it. And then the following Monday, May 23rd, we will have our community call, because the Monday after that is Memorial Day. So it's going to be a maintain May, and we'll do business as usual. And then in June, I have a fun challenge for you guys coming up. And we're going to revisit how to write really good copy, because I feel like we need a refresher course on that. And so we're going to do that. Okay. Thanks so much for tuning in and just being literally one of the best parts of my life. I love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Kelly.